my name is Sukaja. Welcome back to the Bookish Bulletin YouTube channel. Today I'm here to talk about my most recent read, The Book of Strange New Things by Michel Faber. This book deals with a character whose name is Peter, and Peter is essentially a minister. On earth, his job is to spread the word of Christ. Now, this is set in a near future, and the whole book it deals with this topic of if humans ever adopt a different planet, then what's going to happen, right? So there's this planet called Oasis. Our preacher Peter has the opportunity to go and spread Christianity at Oasis. He has to travel with a bunch of other people who have been carefully selected, the cream of the crop, the people who are most resilient, people who are able to sustain in very difficult conditions, people who are not very emotional, people who are not vulnerable. These are the people who are selected for this top secret mission by this company called USIC. Peter gets this opportunity to go, but he has to leave his wife behind. His wife's name is Beatrice. He's not allowed to take her with him because she didn't pass the tests. He had to go through multiple tests before the whole selection got confirmed. But the funny thing is, when he reaches Oasis, the Osans are very eager to learn about Christianity, the word of God. Peter has a very willing audience. His mission is not as difficult as he thought it would be. And the premise is what really intrigued me to pick this book up. One of the many things that came to mind while I was reading this is the fact that it deals with the near future scenario as big corporations are looking to expand into space and think means by which we can colonize Mars and things like that. This is a very real and close to home topic. What I like most is how it's not so easy to kind of create a little civilization, a home away from home. There are so many different factors that need to come into play. Everybody who's selected on this mission has to kind of live like they're in prison when they go to that other planet. They don't really have access to a lot of the things which we take for granted here on Earth. Like we take telecommunication services for granted, email for granted. They don't have access to a lot of these things and they are okay living without that access. And a lot of this novel is epistolary in that Peter writes several letters to his wife Beatrice to keep in touch. And these letters are sent through a chute, which is a kind of device that helps send email through wormholes. All right, so this planet is extremely far away and is able to sustain life. I loved the world building overall, but it is a very claustrophobic read in that sense. There are a lot of letters in this novel and it does get a little slow when you're reading the letters that are exchanged between Beatrice and Peter. So Beatrice keeps filling Peter in on everything that's happening back on Earth, and Peter keeps filling Beatrice in on everything that's happening in Oasis. And the reader can't help but feel the miles and miles that separate the two and the strain that occurs through their relationship on account of being so far away is beautifully captured in this book. You do feel like you yourself have been implanted onto Oasis, and the landscapes, the descriptions of the sunrise and the sunset, the sense of time that pervades in Oasis, all of that is captured really well. And it's extremely convincing as a novel and brings to mind so many questions, as we are at this brink of space exploration, trying to figure out how to establish another colonies here on Mars, and people like Elon Musk doing a lot of projects. I think it's a very timely read right now. It's something that's going to require a lot of thinking because the first set of people who go to Mars and then have to start a civilization on Mars, it's going to be tough because the things that we take for granted every day, like the conveniences that we have here, everything is close by and easy to reach. Those people don't have that over there. And it's going to take a long while for humans who do go up there to actually set up things in a way where it's easy to, live and survive. But in Oasis, it's very interesting because the locals are pretty much okay with these people coming here. Or we have no idea whether the locals are actually okay or not. It's like the author has worked in a way where there is no particular villain. There is nobody who's like the antagonist throughout the novel. As a reader, you have expectations of a book. There's going to likely be some problem when he goes there with the locals. You assume that locals are not going to be very friendly with this guy. They're going to have some issue. There's got to be something. The funny thing is when he's teaching biblical studies to all these people have no problems per se. They are just very okay. They don't have conflicts among themselves. So it's a society that is very different from Earth, and comparing the two makes it a very interesting read. I think some of the scenes in this book are very dreamlike, and there is this desert landscape that pervades most of the story and narrative, and that reminds me of, say, a Salvador Dali painting, like the one about time. Also, time is very distorted in this novel, and him as a preacher also, he gets filled with the sense that he's doing something very important, the last missionary to preach Christianity to another civilization. So it brings to mind all these questions. When we do go and populate another planet, what are the things that we're going to take with us? What are the things that are so crucial? Who are the individuals who are going to get selected? What are the priorities, and who gets to decide these priorities, right? So if somebody like a preacher is going to go on this mission, who gets to decide that? The funny thing about this novel is the USIC does not have any hierarchical structure. So there is nobody who's like the head of the USIC. And all these people, they're signing up and coming to Oasis, but they haven't really read the contract, and there are so many loopholes in that contract. So these people don't even know that. So they're kind of like at the mercy of this big corporation. And being in the capitalist age that we are in, I totally see this kind of thing happening if we ever go into this scenario in the future. So it was just mind-blowing. Just the experience of reading this book is something very unlike any of the books I've read before. Personally, I would want to see this being adapted into film. It's just a very thought-provoking read. I felt very absorbed. So in our future, as a collective, who are the people who are making the decisions? How much transparency is there going to be about missions that are happening? Now, the funny thing in this book is whatever's happening in the USIC, the whole world doesn't know about it. It's just the people in USIC and maybe the family members of those who are involved in this mission. So it's such a unique book, very imaginative. I think I would rate this 4 out of 5 stars on the whole. I would highly recommend it. I hope you liked this review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be coming in with more book reviews. Yes, you heard me right. This is your call to action. Please hit the subscribe button. This is your host, Sukaja, signing off. Bye.